This time I gave her a tip by telling her, "While writing a book, I did a lot of research into climate change. Everything that I read was informational and useful, but the only problem was that most references were written in language that was much too technical. Try to come up with books that will make people feel that they can relate to the subject. It doesn't necessarily have to be any of the conventional genres. It could be a novel, essay, and even a comic. What do you think?" She said, "When it comes to developing book ideas, I can start right away. I will remember that safety should be an important element." It is harder than you think to create a 10-line synopsis that will pass the test of the reboot formulas. I wrote about them rather simply in this book, but the truth is that it took me several days to reach a conclusion that would help Ji-yoon. She felt as though she had completed a big assignment, but she will find herself taking on bigger assignments with every answer she uncovers. While scrambling to apply the 4 reboot formulas in business, some people seize the opportunity of a lifetime, while others are completely devastated. But there is nothing to worry about. Creating a synopsis is not a homework assignment that is completed when you have written it down. You can write a new synopsis each time you come up with a new idea, and you can modify your synopsis each time you come across something new. You can change, rewrite, or even delete your synopsis at any time. What matters is that the more you apply yourself to writing a synopsis, the more it becomes part of your routine. The more you refine your thoughts, the more solutions you will find. It is important to just start writing down whatever comes to mind instead of trying to create something perfect from the very beginning. Just keep imagining and applying the formulas to what you write, and when you repeatedly practice this process, you will eventually have a life-saving scenario that you have never imagined possible. Stage 3. Create and execute to-do lists immediately. Once you have created your own synopsis using a webtoon caliber wild imagination and have filtered it through the 4 formulas, it is time to move on to stage 4. Creating to-do lists to bring your reboot scenario to life. In the case of Ji-yoon, her list includes the expansion of a network in the domestic publishing industry, making connections with overseas publishers, and studying English and digital technology, all of which are necessary to build an open platform that reflects the latest trends in Korean books. But she needs to get more granular than that to stay on track. She needs to outline each subtask for the most important to-dos on her list. Making all these lists is not the end of it. What is important is their execution. Taking action is essential to making the most out of them. To ensure that you complete all the necessary actions, persevering no matter how many problems you encounter, be sure to keep in mind the level of difficulty of each task and the time you will need to accomplish it. Space them out accordingly so that you maintain a positive trajectory and remain focused. No matter how good a plan is, it's useless if you cannot execute it. You can maximize results by executing your plans with a team instead of working alone. There is a good possibility that there are people who have knowledge of most of the specifics that you never knew about. You can cut down the time that you have to spend studying the issues if you meet people who work in relevant industries and ask for their help instead of trying to do everything alone. You must also keep modifying your scenario by incorporating into it the lessons that you have learned from your failures. If luck is with you, you will hit the jackpot with the first scenario that you have created. But if not, you might end up wasting time and effort. From my lengthy experience, no action is wasted entirely. Even if it results in the worst outcome, you can learn a lesson from it and avoid making wrong choices the next time. As I said earlier, I write my reboot scenarios in my workbook where I figured out how to make my dreams come true despite the coronavirus outbreak. I write in this workbook every day. When I say that I am writing a scenario, you might get the impression that I am writing some grand story. But the truth is that my scenario is just a scribble in a workbook where I write down questions such as, what changes will be happening post-coronavirus? What do I need to start doing to survive? What kind of a motivational speaker should I be from now on? How will I be making a living in the future? What kind of person should I be in the future? In hard times such as those that we are going through now, you need to practice using a workbook, and you should not jump into it without any preparation. You must repeatedly go through the process of imagining yourself in the future, write to-do lists, take action, and modify your scenario. After reading the scenarios of companies and global consulting firms, it suddenly dawned on me that their scenarios most likely will change in the future. After studying and predicting the future, putting together strategies and taking action on each while continuously modifying their scenarios, they might see the moment when their present meets the future someday. The content of their scenarios is not what is important. What is important is their commitment to repeatedly rewriting and executing them.